Whether it's for combat or to interact with the surrounding world in Hogwarts Legacy, you'll be casting many spells throughout the game. During your walkthrough, you'll also come across essential spells that are needed to unlock secrets and doors, like the Alarama spell to open locked doors. Knowing how to cast spells in Hogwarts Legacy and the best spells within the game is therefore an essential skill if you want your wizarding adventure to be a success. So in this video, we'll be doing a complete guide to the spells in Hogwarts Legacy, going over how the spells work and the best spells that you should get, and also the spells that you'll be getting at the beginning of the game and how to utilize them throughout your playthrough. So yeah, this video will be a complete guide to spells within Hogwarts Legacy. After all, this game is set within the world of Hogwarts, and spells play a massive part. We see that throughout the Harry Potter series, and it's no different within the Hogwarts Legacy game. You'll be using spells for loads of different scenarios, like we mentioned, whether that's during combat or it's generally just unlocking doors. You'll be using them all of the time. You'll be using them to solve puzzles as well, so you know, it is really crucial that you know how to utilize these spells and the best way to go about using them. So yeah, this video will be a complete guide to using spells in Hogwarts Legacy. Let's get into it. Hogwarts Legacy features 34 spells, and you can equip 4 spells at a time in what are called spell sets. You start with 1 but can expand to 4 by unlocking the right talents. With there being so many spells to use throughout the game, it's a good idea that you know how to actually use these spells, so we'll quickly walk through how to use these spells within the game. When it comes to casting spells on a controller, you want to hold down the R2 or RT button to enter the spell mode. Then you can tap one of the buttons on your controller to fire a basic spell, these being triangle, circle, X and square, or A, B, X and Y, depending obviously on the controller that you're using. And on your controller, obviously, whichever button you press will correspond to the spell, since you do get 4 spells equipped at one time, and they'll all be labelled with the button that you need to press. So yeah, you just hold down R2 or RT, then triangle, circle, X or square, or A, B, X and Y to cast the spell that you want to cast. Then when it comes to the keyboard, you want to press F1, F2, F3 or F4 or 5, 6, 7 and 8 to switch between spell sets. To switch between spell sets, use 1, 2, 3 and 4 on your keyboard. Obviously, since the layout of a keyboard is completely different to a controller, it does work a little bit differently in that you can have more spells equipped at one time. So yeah, since obviously you need to equip spells, let's actually go over how you do equip spells within Hogwarts Legacy. Different enemies, puzzles and quests require different spells, so yeah, obviously you're going to be changing these spells that you have casted a lot of the time, so we'll walk through that now. First of all, you want to press the right on the D-pad on your controller, or T if you are using a keyboard, to open the spell list. Hover over or select the spell that you want to equip, and press the button for the spell you want to switch out with the new one. So on a PlayStation 5, for example, you would hit square, X, circle or triangle, depending on the spell that you want to swap out. So there you go, that's a guide on how to actually use spells within Hogwarts Legacy and how they'll generally work throughout the world. But now let's actually go over the best spells that you should have within the game, and we'll list through loads of different spells and cover the best spells that you should be using. So within Hogwarts Legacy, you are able to learn over a dozen spells. Some of these spells do act as mechanical functions to the core gameplay, whereas others are primarily for combat. So obviously it's useful to know which are the best spells, since there are a lot and they have different purposes. So there are 2 different types of spells within Hogwarts Legacy. First, you have the essential spells. These are considered core and they will always be active once you obtain them. They offer new gameplay functions or mechanics. And then you do have the equipable spells. These are spells that often require you to trace a pattern before you can learn them. You then have the ability to assign them to a spell slot like we walked through earlier. This category can then be further subdivided depending on its category. So first of all, we'll go through the essential spells within the game, and of course we have the basic cast, a spammable normal attack learned at the start of the campaign. This is learned right at the beginning, and it's just a basic cast that you can use throughout the whole game. And then there is Revelio, which is used to ping the map to reveal objects, enemies or points of interest learned at the start of the campaign. And then there is Protego, and this is the game's version of blocking and countering. Press the block button and create a Protego bubble, and do it at the right time to follow up with a counter. Then we have the Ancient Magic Throw, where you throw objects at your target and can also destroy shields. Next up is Ancient Magic, where you cast devastating elements or other random tricks. Then we do have Alarama, which is obtained when you do the Caretaker's Lunar Lament quest, and this can be further upgraded to open higher level locks by collecting certain collectibles. Then of course we have the equipable spells, which are through main quests and general assignments. So first of all we have Lumos, which turns your wand into a light source and is learned right at the beginning of the game. Then we have Accio, which pulls enemies and objects towards you. Then we have Levioso, which lifts enemies and objects into the air. Then we have Reparo, which repairs broken and ruined objects. Then Incendio, which blasts a torrent of flame in an arc. Then there is Disillusionment, which will obviously make you in a stealth mode. It will put you into a stealth mode where you cannot be seen. Then we have the Pulso, which forcefully pushes a target away from your character. Then we have Confringo, which casts a long-range jet of flames. Then we have Defindo, which shoots out several blades that slash your foe. Then there is Levioso, which lifts a target into the air but allows for additional movement and precision compared to Levioso. Next up is Flipendo, which is smashing a target into the ground or upside down. Then there is Glacius, which freezes a target into a block of ice. Then there is Aristo Momentum, which stops a target from moving. Then there's Descendo, which pulls down an airborne target to the ground. Then there is Bombarda, which blasts a target and creates an area of effect explosion. Then there is Transformation, which changes the form of your target, i.e. into barrels or blocks. So those are all of the equipable spells within Hogwarts Legacy, and then there is the Room of Requirement spells. These consist of Evanesco, which removes obstacles and decorations to refund the Moonstone cost. Then there is the Conjuring spell, which allows you to place down furniture and fixtures. Then there is the Altering spell, which changes the colour and size of a decoration or furniture. Now there are Unforgivable Curses, which are dark magic spells within Hogwarts Legacy, and they are obtained much later in the game, and I don't really want to go through those since they are massive spoilers for the game, and I don't really think there's any need either to go through those, so I'm just going to avoid them for now. But those are all of the spells within Hogwarts Legacy. Those are every single spell that you'll be using throughout the game, whether that's a core gameplay mechanic that a spell sort of implemented into, or whether it's an optional spell that you can use within combat that you do claim through some sort of assignment or through a quest. But right at the beginning of the game, you're not going to have all of those spells, so you will have some of them. For example, the basic cast, of course, you're going to have, which is just a spammable normal attack, but there will be some stuff, for example, Lumos, you don't get right at the beginning, but you get it very, very, very near the beginning. So, you know, when you first load up the game, you're not going to have it, but that goes the same with, you know, Accio and Levioso. You're not going to get them right at the beginning, but it won't take long until you are, you know, receiving lots and lots of spells for completing certain quests. But generally speaking, right at the beginning of the game, you're not going to have any, but it really doesn't take long to start racking those spells up. So it's pretty important to know what the best spells are within the game, and we're going to go through those now. First of all, there is Incendio and Confringo. They both fire spells and tend to be used often, and you might want to have them both equipped at the same time in certain situations. They are actually extremely effective against spiders, and it is also worth noting that the Incendio mastery talent causes a fire blast, which is actually amazing for fights against multiple hostiles. Then there is Levioso, which is a great spell, and by default Levioso is great for a crowd control since it keeps an enemy in midair for a few seconds, and it gets even better once you get the Levioso mastery since it will affect nearby opponents as well. As the final best spell within Hogwarts Legacy is definitely Glacius, and this is perfect when it's partnered with Incendio and Confringo, and this will likely become your bread and butter combo since once the spells are unlocked, Glacius encases foes in an ice block, and if you shoot them with Incendio or Confringo, the shatter effect will deal even more damage. So being able to pair all of those together will make for one of the best methods for defeating enemies quickly and easily within Hogwarts Legacy. But there we go, those are the best spells that you can use within Hogwarts Legacy, and also we went through how you can actually get these spells within the game and how these spells do work, and of course how you can cast these spells. So yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Now I have actually done a video a bit like this, but I go through the best ways to make money within Hogwarts Legacy, and if you're interested in watching that, the link to that video is on the screen now, and you can go ahead and join me over there.